She thought she knew him. 7 years, a house, a dog, a life they built together. She thought the worst thing that could happen was losing him. She had no idea. Because the night she found that second phone, buried under a pile of clothes in the back of his closet, she didn't just lose him, she lost the entire version of herself that had trusted him. This is Sarah's story, and I promise you, by the end of this, you will never look at a charging cable the same way again. Sarah was 34 years old when her life fell apart. From the outside, everything looked perfect. She and Marcus had been together since their late 20s, meeting at a work conference, falling hard, moving in together within a year. By the time they hit 7 years, they had a mortgage, a rescue dog named Cooper, and what Sarah described as a quiet, comfortable love. Not the butterflies every morning kind, the real kind, the kind where you finish each other's sentences and argue about whose turn it is to do the dishes and feel genuinely safe. Marcus worked in finance. Long hours, frequent travel, the kind of job that explained away a lot of things. Why he was always tired, why his phone was always face down on the table, why some nights he came home distracted, distant, already somewhere else in his head. Sarah was a primary school teacher, patient by nature. She had learned not to push. She told herself that's what long-term relationships looked like, that the distance was just stress, that the coldness was just exhaustion, that she was lucky, genuinely lucky, to have someone stable, someone who had never once given her real reason to doubt him. She was wrong. It was a Tuesday in November. Marcus was away on a work trip, or so she believed, and Sarah was doing laundry. She'd gone into his side of the wardrobe to grab a shirt she'd washed that needed hanging back up, and as she reached up to the top shelf, a hoodie fell down, and under it, wedged against the back corner like it had been deliberately hidden, was a phone. Not his work phone, not his personal phone, which was sitting on the charger on his bedside table. A third phone, small, cheap, a prepaid model, the kind you buy with cash. Sarah said later that her hands were shaking before she even unlocked it, like her body already knew what her mind hadn't accepted yet. The phone wasn't password protected. That was the first thing that shocked her. It was like he'd gotten careless, or arrogant, or both. She opened the messages. There were hundreds of them. Stretching back 2.5 years, a woman named Kay, no last name, just an initial. And the messages were not ambiguous, not even slightly. This wasn't an emotional affair. This wasn't a gray area. This was detailed, explicit, and completely deliberate. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the photos, because Sarah recognized the background in some of them. The gray headboard, the white lamp on the bedside table, they were taken in their bedroom, in their bed, while Sarah was at work. Most people, in that moment, would have called him immediately, screamed, thrown something, fallen apart. Sarah put the phone back exactly where she found it. She rehung the hoodie, closed the wardrobe, went and sat on the kitchen floor with Cooper for 20 minutes, and then she made a decision that would change everything. She wasn't going to react, not yet. She was going to know everything first. Sarah called her sister that night, the only person she told. Her sister, who happened to be a lawyer, gave her one piece of advice: document everything before you do anything. So that's exactly what Sarah did. Over the next 3 weeks, while Marcus came home and kissed her hello and asked how her day was, Sarah was quietly and methodically building a picture of the truth. She discovered that Key was a woman named Kayla, that Kayla was 26, that Marcus had been paying for a second apartment, a studio flat on the other side of the city, for over 2 years. She found the bank statements that he'd been hiding in a separate account she didn't know existed. She found out that several of his work trips were weekends away with Kayla. She found out that Kayla didn't know about Sarah, and that's when Sarah made the second decision that would define what happened next. Sarah didn't want screaming matches. She didn't want a dramatic confrontation that he could spin into her being unstable. She wanted everything. She went to a financial lawyer first, because the house they'd bought together, was in both their names, and the money Marcus had been hiding in that separate account, some of it had come from their joint savings, money they'd both put in for a future that only she had actually believed in. The lawyer told her she had a very strong case. Then she called Kayla, not to be cruel, not to scream at her. She introduced herself calmly, told her who she was, told her how long she and Marcus had been together, and told her about the apartment Marcus was paying for, with money from their joint savings. The line went completely silent. Kayla had believed Marcus was single, had believed he was saving up to move in with her, had believed the apartment was the beginning of their life together. He had been lying to both of them, completely, simultaneously, for 2.5 years. Kayla ended things with Marcus that same night. Sarah confronted Marcus the following morning, with every document printed and organized in a folder on the kitchen table. Bank statements, screenshots, dates, amounts. She told him she already had a lawyer, that the house proceedings had already started, that he had 2 weeks to arrange somewhere to stay. Marcus cried. He begged. He said it meant nothing, which was almost impressive in its stupidity. Sarah said 3 words, "Get out, Marcus," and she meant it. The legal process took 8 months. Sarah got the house. She got back the money that had come from their shared savings. Marcus got his hidden apartment, which ironically Kayla had already moved out of. He lost both of them in one night. Sarah said the hardest part wasn't the anger. The anger, she said, was almost clean, something to do with her hands. The hardest part was grieving the version of him she loved. The person she now understood had never fully existed. She said she spent a long time asking herself how she missed it, whether she had missed it, or whether she'd seen things and talked herself out of them, whether the patience she'd always been proud of had actually just been a way of not asking difficult questions. She doesn't have a neat answer for that. She said she's still working on it, but she also said this, and I think it's worth sitting with. She said the second phone was the worst thing that ever happened to her, and also the thing that finally woke her up to the fact that she had been living a smaller version of her own life for years, quieter than she wanted to be, more careful, more accommodating. She said she spent 7 years making herself easier to love. She's done doing that now. If this story hit something in you, drop a comment below. You don't have to say much. Sometimes just saying, "I needed this today," is enough. I'll see you in the next one.